So we will start with the social and cultural competence. This was the second part of this particular presentation. But most importantly, we will focus on the intercultural competence. See, when we see India and the world, it's like very, very diverse. I think there is no other country which is diverse like India. India is very popular for its unity among diversity kind of a settlement. And when you go to the global level, you will find that there are many people who came from different countries, different backgrounds, they have different languages, different dialects. But ultimately, when we start a teamwork, we need to integrate with them. We need to assimilate with them, and we need to function with them in a such a way that we do not contribute for any conflict, but rather we only contribute for the success of team. And that is why this intercultural competence is very important. Now, we rarely talk about this thing. Like when I was in masters, I never thought of it. Few things happened automatically, naturally, and I think it was a good sign that we people from extension discipline have a great amount of intercultural awareness, and we behave in a such a way that we do not create awkward situations for anyone. But if you are, for example, working at a national level, you will encounter enormous diversity of India. Like you will have teachers from different parts of the country, you will have friends, students from the different parts of the country. Probably, maybe you are from Maharashtra, you will get admission in IERI, and your head says, now you go and collect data from Punjab, Haryana, or Rajasthan. I don't know. This is like a very, very diverse assignment, which for which you really need to get ready. Or maybe you're from Jammu and Kashmir, and you pass the ARS Agricultural Research Service examination, and you get your first posting in Kerala or Tamil Nadu. So for you, it is a like of completely different culture, and yeah, probably you will spend most of your time to apply for getting transfer. Kya rahe sir, mujhe mere hometown jana hai, mujhe mere home state jana hai. But the thing is, we should feel very lucky that we get an opportunity to serve this extremely diverse parts of a country. Like I'm from Maharashtra. I did my education until graduation from Maharashtra. For the masters, I went to New Delhi, IRI New Delhi. From there, we came again to Hyderabad for my NARM training, and again I got my first posting somewhere here in Meghalaya state, wherein I was working in the zonal project directorate. Now it's Atari. And after 3 years in Germany, again I came back to this place, and from there I got my posting in Maharashtra. And though I'm posted in Maharashtra, the headquarters of my institute is located somewhere in UP. And though the training and education center is located in Pune, we are having that responsibility to cater the needs of a Western part of India. So generally, we keep our physical activities restricted for this part, but as such, there is no limit. Like nowadays, we are organizing many online programs where students from entire India, they keep participating. So my dear friends, this is a very diverse country, and if you wish to work in this very diverse setting, then you really need that competence to work in intercultural settings. For example, some part, mainly from like this part, they prefer to eat a roti. Just let me clear this thing. Like for example, when we talk about this part, generally they prefer eating rotis or chapatis, and it's like this part, it's like rice dominated belt. They prefer oh, very sorry, people prefer eating rice, and it's not just roti and rice, my dear friends. The moment they switch a diet from roti to rice, the side preparations which we eat along with the roti and rice, they also get changed. Like preparations change, the ingredients change, everything changes. So same thing happens when we work in a intercultural teams, wherein people from different background, different language, different socio-political, economic background enter in your team. Whatever they do, it has a kind of uh, a different meaning, or they are trained in a different way, and sometimes for you it's very difficult to understand like why they are doing it and how. So this why and how, and sometimes when you do not have the appropriate information about the culture, you will never realize like why they are doing it. In my experience, sometimes when you see someone doing something which is strange for you, you think अरे ये बंदा क्या यार, इसका आदत ठीक नहीं है, ये ठीक से नहीं कर रहा है. But the moment you realize, okay, it's a part of their culture, and this is how they have done the things for many years, their ancestors also have developed these practices, you realize, okay, there is some reason. And for you it's not practically possible to learn the languages, the dialects, the cultures, the festivals, the traditions, the rituals, the taboos of all the states and all the cultures. But rather what you can practice, you can practice a behavior, you can practice an awareness in such a way that you respect the culture of other people and you get along with them. You focus on your teamwork irrespective of background or culture of your team member, and you bring them together so that you can contribute for that particular goal. We will see some examples which will give you more clarity. But see, in the international arena, what is happening? International student recruitment. Some people go for the how to say, masters and doctorates, and then they remain in that particular country forever. Then internationalization of a curricular, your entire curriculum is how to say, it's designed in such a way that you get a lot of international exposure. Like study abroad and exchange program, they are continuously attracting many youth. Internationalization of research, this is the most important factor which we need to understand. If you are a researcher, then you must have some kind of a research collaboration. It will also give you a lot of empowerment and like enriching experiences to carry out your work. Then international partnerships and network, and there is one management terminology which I explicitly don't know what they mean, but they call it league table positioning. I don't know what they mean, but for us, like the student, this curriculum, this research exchange, student exchange, study exchange, and international partnership and network, these are the key points which are a kind of how to say, reasons for developing that particular exchange of different culture in academia. So what happens when multiple cultures, they start coming in, we get that internationalization. It's a concept wherein many individuals from different cultural settings, they come together to attain one goal. But that internationalization is not just symbolic, it is a transformational. Like in the networking skill program, I told you several times, like the entire world is a global village. That is possible only because of this internationalization. So earlier we had a like notion that घर के पास ही काम करना है, फिर नहीं मेरे स्टेट में ही काम करना है, नहीं अभी मेरे कंट्री में ही काम करना है. But if you really wish to see this planet and globe and the cultures, how amazing they are, you really need to go to the abroad, and you need to really mingle with different cultures and different countries, the way they do things, and this will definitely enrich your human experience on this planet. And this is very important. I know it's something like each and every like Okay, I think this example is not so good. Everyone feels that his culture is great, his gao is great, his state is great. Same way, same feelings are there with the people across the globe. But if you are aware about your own culture, and you have respect about the culture of other people, you will realize there are many good things spread across the globe. So what we are going to do about this entire knowledge, we are going to develop intercultural competence so that we can perform in a multicultural team. So what is intercultural competence, or I call it ICC? Intercultural competence is the ability to effectively and appropriately interact in an intercultural situation or context. See, uh, when we talk about career, I generally give the example to student, like if possible, you try to get some job at least for few years in a international civil service organization. And the moment you apply for this job, they ask you, do you have any intercultural competence? Have you ever attended any training or program or workshop pertaining to intercultural competence? Write your answers in that particular form correctly if you do so. And if you have that, they know, like, you know how to behave in a multicultural teams. And when you wish to work at a global level, you cannot bypass this intercultural competence, because this is, how to say, a prerequisite to be a part of that any multicultural team, and uh, and work productively. So the concept of intercultural competence includes knowledge and awareness and affective domains, and also include behavior and communication. Like, you have the knowledge and awareness about the culture of people, and you also have the knowledge of things. If you do them in a wrong way, then you will have to face some consequences. They are the affective domains of that particular culture. And also includes the behavior and the communication, the way you are supposed to say or speak, the way you are supposed to greet, or the way you are supposed to behave. All these things are part of intercultural competence. Intercultural understanding focuses on sharing, creating, and contesting different cultural perception and practices. Yeah, it's okay, you have your own culture, but we really need to share some aspects of it. We really need to share that awareness out of it, and we really need to perceive it in such a way that we get along with the, or we still can perform in a multicultural team. Now this is a bit new concept for many people, but until and unless you visit some really foreign country or something, you won't understand the importance of this intercultural competence. It supports the development of critical awareness of the processes of a socialization, like how you are going to socialize in the particular country in a new culture. So all these things fall under the gamut of intercultural competence. But most importantly, you don't have to learn about all cultures. You simply have to play your games with some simple rules, that how you can effectively work in a multicultural team or multicultural setting. So what exactly the education means, or the training or the workshop for intercultural competence means? The intercultural competence in this context is transcending the limitations of one's own worldview. Right now, we all have some prejudices, some thoughts, some feelings, some notions about all countries in our head. But that is our own view, and you really need to transcend it. Okay. Like, for example, India. What foreigners think about India? Like, since last many years, there was a very unprofessional, how to say, habit, picture of India was portrayed by this foreign journalist, which I still don't like. Like, some of them come to India, they took the pictures of children doing the morning ritual of a toilet on a railway track. Someone took that photograph nicely and shown to the entire world, like, this is how Indians are using the railway. That was like filthiest way of showing someone's culture. But yeah, it's not like that. All 60 billion kids of India do this thing on the train tracks. So there are some people who portray uh, the society or culture of a country in a very bad way, and many people knowingly or unknowingly saved that image in their brain forever. And whenever they think of India, the first thing which comes to their mind is that particular train track. and the kids doing some filthy stuff. So that is why in an intercultural competence, we really need to transcend the view. When the same foreigner people somehow after a few years came to know like India is ancient civilization. India gave the gift of yoga to uh, the entire world. India is a home of Ayurveda. India is a very rich culture in terms of dance, the clothes we wear, the food we have, the traditional heritages we have. Then these guys started respecting India. Oh, then they started planning their vacations to India. Then they came to India. And earlier it was like in their head, like India is something Taj Mahal. So many visited only Taj Mahal and Delhi and then they went back to their country. But with the growing awareness, they came to know like, no, there are many things beyond Taj Mahal in India. Then in the next trip, they started visiting South India, Northeast India. And then they came to know how fantastic country is this. So same thing, same phenomenon is going to happen with you. We open up other ways of thinking and other ways of logic when we think about or we work with the multiculturality. We find a tongue means a language or a way of speaking or communicating with the people from multicultural background in such a way that we speak our humanity to each other. Okay, and we need it, we need that tongue, that language, that particular tone of communication so that we can speak our humanity. In the beginning, you are going to talk about a very comfortable topics which will help you to create some bond with the foreign people or people from the different multinational, multicultural setting. And generally, that humanity is one virtue which helps you to get connected with them. And we learn to see that our own views of the world is just one among many. There are many views to the world. Each and every person is seeing the world with his own understanding, his own perception. So you see what you see, but you actually add meaning to it according to your knowledge, according to your skill, according to your how to say current status of a mood, whether you are happy or sad or whatever it is. So this is how the intercultural competence helps you to transcend the view about the world. So when you get intercultural experiences, when you get intercultural encounters, the experiences are varied. And you get variety of experiences if you don't know like what is happening, what they are doing, how they are doing. For example, when I was in Europe, I was surprised to see baby with a bottle. It means that to me, until the age of 5 or 6, my mom was feeding me with the food by her hand. अरे आजा बेटा एक घास खा ले, अरे आजा बेटा एक निवाला खा ले, अरे आजा बेटा मुंह खोलो, ये खा लो वो खा लो. But what I saw, even like the infants of like 4 month, 5 month, they were holding their own bottle and they were drinking milk. I saw them at a train station, bus station, like mama is over phone or she's reading something. Baby is not crying at all. He was drinking his milk and he was happy, mom was happy. And it was a surprise to me, like how this thing can happen. In my country, the affection of mom is more important. And she used to feed me. And I remembered how great experience it was and why these moms are so robotic. They are not taking care of their kid. And it was a surprise to me. But my dear friends, the Germans have their own way of doing things. They teach like the self-dependency since day one to their kid. Like they should not be dependent on parent. This is a great virtue. I have seen like a 20 or 30-year kids in our families who most of the day they sit on a sofa and they tell their mom, अरे मम्मा एक ग्लास पानी दे देना. बेचारी माँ बूढ़ी होती है, 60 साल की होती है, घुटनों में दर्द होता है, फिर भी चल के जाती नहीं, माँ मेरे बच्चे ने पानी मांगा है. So this is our culture. So you get surprised. The second one is like a discomfort. Sometimes you see people behaving in a very strange way and you feel the discomfort. Like I had one friend, his name was Johan, and we were together for the first orientation program of our doctoral school, and we were roommates. He was wearing the same black dress for 3 days, and I was like, why you are not changing clothes? And whole day, like I saw him, he was like soaked up with his own work. He was not interested with unnecessary chit chat or something. Like his interaction was limited with all the individuals. But the moment he entered in a room, he will focus on his work. He will open his laptop, no chit chat or something. and he will start creating code for his software. And before going to bed, I started my ritual, like brush karo, ye karo, wo karo, बेडशीट लगाओ, ये से करो, गद्दा रखो, पिलो रखो, फिर ये कपड़े चेंज करो, नाइट ड्रेस पहनो, ये सब करने के बाद I went to bed, or I used to go to bed. That guy, he simply removed his hat, he simply removed his clothes, his trouser was lying on the floor itself. वो कपड़े कभी टांगता नहीं था इधर उधर, वो जहां जमीन पे रखी है जूता, उसके बगल में उसका पैंट, और बस वैसे ही बेड पे सो गया. The next morning he got up, he wore his hat, he wore his pants, he wore his shoe, and then he went to the bathroom. And I was like, yeah, what is doing? What's happening? So it's just his way of doing things. And sometimes you find irritation when you don't understand the culture. Like every Friday night, they used to organize the bar in our apartment itself, wherein students get a lot of money from the state funded student and work department, like a student welfare department, wherein for the 6 months they used to get 5,000 euros to organize student activities. For example, 5,000 euros is almost 5 lakh rupees to organize student activity. It contains welcome of a fresher, bringing barbecue, bringing beer, eating food, having dance, playing some sports. And I was shocked, like, what is happening? Ye paisa barbaad kar rahe kya ye log? And they used to dance whole night. And that was like a new experience to me. Like, यार पूरी रात कौन नाचता है? 10 बजे स्टार्ट करते हैं तो 3, 4, 5 बजे तक नाच रहे हो. It was their way. It was their way. So I got irritated for 1 or 2 times, but when I went to see like how they do the dancing and what they do, it was a great thing. Yeah, the music was great, the drinks were great, the food was great, the barbecue was great, and I was happy. And after that, even though I didn't went to the parties, I was happy. Like, yeah, they are the young people and they're enjoying their life. Let them enjoy it. Then it stopped my irritation. Then there was one shock when my university organized a trip of a Reeperbahn area. In my Hamburg, it is a red light area, a Reeperbahn, and I was like, like, what's wrong with my university? They are organizing a tour of a red light area. So they are very open-minded people, and they accept what women do for their living, and they do not underestimate or they do not see prostitute with a bad connotation. They support the welfare of all women, and university organized a tour to show that area, how they live their life in that particular situation and what are the different tourist attraction. And there was a guide who was paid nicely by the university, and it was a shock to me. But my dear friends, this is how open-minded people do the business. Then sometimes I got angry when I saw the signals and no one was crossing the signals. Like, if it is a red, then it is a red, and no one will jump to the signal. Like for Indians, it was a very difficult thing. But when I realized the Germans, they follow the rules very strictly. And one of the basic rule is signal. Even if they're in a great hurry, they won't jump the signal. And one night I was with my friends, they drank up to the 3, 4 a.m. And while going home, like literally there was no one on the road. They were drunken, so they were not in the full position of their faculties. And how to say, though the signal was red, like I thought we can now just walk, there is no one on the screen, neither police nor a traffic. But they said no, rule is a rule, and everyone was standing. After green signal only, they crossed the road and I went to the metro station. And it gives me like a lot of respect about the way they follow their rules. So that time I was not angry about signals. Losing the face. Many a times I thought that I know my country well and foreigners don't have any idea, but that's not the case. They know our India in a very nice way. One day I was listening to the award competition of a Bhalerao Foundation. One girl was presenting about the tribal food and how we can use insect or something as a rich source of a protein. And she was a foreigner, but she cited the example of northeastern states. And one professor was sitting in audience. He was European, and he said, like, you cited the example of this, but have you studied the way different tribals or the tribes of Meghalaya eat the food. And she was like, no, it was like she studied one or two tribes, and then he started telling, no, there are three major tribes, like Garos are there, Khasis are there, Jaintias are there, and they have this particular ingredients, and this only this type of insects they eat. And I was shocked to see their knowledge. And I was from the Northeast India, and I was not having that kind of clarity. So this is how we lose our face sometimes. So that is why we should not underestimate the person from different culture that isko hamare bare mein kuch nahi pata hai. Sometimes humor is always good, it's a bonus. So you get this different reaction. But what exactly we need to do when it comes to the intercultural competence? It's not a knowledge of single culture, but actually it's a knowledge of operating effectively across the cultures. Exposure to the otherness. You really need to expose yourself to the otherness, the other condition, other culture, their ways of living life. Then only you will understand or master your intercultural competence. And there are many things which seem strange from the different culture, but if you can familiarize with those strange things, you will be very effective to acquire intercultural competence with respect to that particular culture. And it means challenging our own views, our own identity, our own values, assumptions, and stereotypes, and those of our counterparts. We should not stereotype anyone. And most importantly, learning about cultural others and seeing the world from their perspective. If you are working in a multicultural team, then this is very important quality for you. You try to see things from their own perspective. So this world is diverse, and diversity is a strength. So diverse range of emotion is equal to a healthier person. कभी खुश हो, कभी रोते हो, कभी गाते हो, कभी गुनगुनाते हो, कभी अपने मूड में खो जाते हो. These are the simplest example of a healthier person. So their diversity is also strength for you. And diversity at workplace enables more productivity and creativity. And if there is no diversity, it is going to hinder your networking efforts. And if you wish to increase your collective intelligence, then definitely you need to go for improving your intercultural competence, because that's the one way of recognizing cultural differences and respecting them. And whenever you go to the foreign country or different cultures or even a different states or a different group of people in the same state, you must be aware of their standard method of greeting, the way they greet each other. And if you accept any refusal from them, then please accept it gracefully and do not push, and simply move on. And if they change subject, if they don't want to talk about data collection or agriculture, don't push them. Okay, do not push, accept it and move on. So to improve your intercultural competence, you can learn culture and languages. Okay, so these unfamiliar things, they are not always weird or strange. It's just their way to do things. Every culture has taboos. You respect them. For example, we don't talk about money or politics, religion, or question about family or marital status when we meet someone immediately. Okay, it takes a time. Like you meeting someone, and the first question is, what is your bank balance? No, that is not acceptable. And always choose comparable topic when you talk with the people from different cultures. And if you wish to ask question, ask in a very polite manner. Don't be rude. If possible, do some online research beforehand. And if needed, ask for help. But it should be a polite way. And be kind to others. And most importantly, respect women. It doesn't matter in which setting of intercultural communication you are operating. So with these words, I'm stopping over here. If you have any question, any doubt, or if you seek any additional information, please feel free to ask. Participants, any question?